Welcome back to my channel. It's Emily Lucy Rajch, and today we are continuing with our wellness journey, and today we are going to talk about sleep, because sleep is the most important factor to my weight loss and well-being and healthy habits journey. It has just brought everything together. It's vitally important, and the more I speak to people, the more I realise how much people underestimate and don't prioritise a healthy, regular sleep pattern. In the last 12 months, I have lost over 2 stone and really changed my lifestyle to be a much healthier one. If you don't know anything about that and you want to find out more, there's loads of videos down below linked of my journey from January to November of how I lost the weight, and my dad's diagnosis for cancer, which really started this journey of me trying to be the healthiest version of me. I got myself this Whoop. It looked like an Apple Watch. The good thing about the Whoop is you can charge it while it's on your wrist. You can tell by the colour of it, it's well worn. And I don't use it as much now, but when I first started my journey, this helped me set healthy habits that 12 months later have become an everyday habit that I do without thinking. And this taught me so much about my sleep. So when I first started this sleep journey, and to understand why I was always feeling so tired, and when I started wearing the Whoop to bed, it really showed me how, one, many times I was waking up throughout the night, 2, how low my sleep score was, so how many hours I was sleeping for, and 3, if I had ingested alcohol or anything that disrupted my sleep, it would show me the effects dramatically impacted my sleep. So if you're somebody who is completely clueless when it comes to sleep, and you are somebody who's doom scrolling till 2 a.m. in the morning, then I honestly recommend getting a Whoop. It really did help get those good habits in order. And every night you wake up in the morning and do your sleep diary, and then if anything's changed, so say if you've slept in a different bed, or if you had to get up for some reason in the night, or if you went to bed really late, all of these factors you would put into the diary, and then the next day it would give you a sleep score. The aim is to get 100% sleep score. It really helped me understand the factors of sleep and REM sleep. I'm not going to sit here and give you all the scientific facts on sleep, because that's not why you've chosen this video. I'm trying to make it as everyday and easy to understand as possible, because if you wanted to go watch something factful and scientific, then you could search, REM sleep and more detail in that. I'm breaking this down for the everyday person who wants to get a better night's sleep and not be as tired throughout the day. And this is what's worked for me. I have done it for the last 12 months. It's really changed my life, and I want to share it with you because, like I said, so many people don't know the easy basics of when it comes to sleeping. So number 1 really made such a difference. As soon as I started seeing this, the next day I could see the results, and my sleep score was so much better. And that is what time you eat your last meal. Before, if I was going to the gym, sometimes I'd not eat my last meal until 9 p.m. If you're eating your dinner at 9 p.m. after the gym, obviously you're starting your healthy routine, you want to go to the gym after work, you're getting in at 9 p.m, making some food, it's 9:45 when you just finished your meal. Then you want to go to bed early because you've got work the next day. Your food is just sat in your stomach all night, which is going to really affect your sleep. Again, if you want to find out more detail on this, you can search for videos on YouTube about sleep and digestion and why it's important to eat dinners earlier. I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to give you just the things that have worked for me, and then if you want to go and further research it, then that's up to you. I made sure that I had everything in the house that I knew I could make quickly after work, and that's why I've started training in the morning. So instead of going to the gym after work and eating later, I now get up earlier, train in the morning, run in the morning or in the afternoon, and then I eat between 5 and 5:30, and that has made such a difference to my sleep score and my general sleep and tiredness. I've got into a really good cycle, because if I'm eating at 5 to 5:30, then I'm making sure I've got enough hours before 9 p.m. when I start to wind down and get in bed, that I've eaten my final meal and I'm ready to relax. I'm nice and full, sat in front of the sofa, unwinding, making sure that I keep to that sleep schedule. Since starting my healthy habits, and so many people have had so many questions about how I've lost the weight, I've started a group on Instagram. You can join that. There's over 10,000 people in that group, and women are chatting in there, helping each other, sharing their goals of what they want to achieve this year, and it's just a place to motivate each other. In my group, somebody also asked, what do you do when people invite you to things? And obviously there's going to be occasions where, you want to go out, you don't want to go to bed at 9 p.m, or you don't want to be eating dinner at 5:30, you want to be on holiday and you want to eat at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m, then obviously there's exceptions in life where, you know, you have to have a balance. The Whoop band, one of the things that's really good is it calculates sleep debt. So if you have had a bad night's sleep from the effects of what you've done, if you've drank alcohol or you've gone to bed late or you've eaten late, then the next day you'll have a sleep debt that you need to make up. So that'll mean that the next day or on a weekend you're sleeping longer, and then that's how you get into really bad habits where you think, oh, I've slept in all weekend and not got anything done. So you kind of training yourself daily to be like, right, is it worth me going for dinner at 9 p.m? Obviously on holiday or certain situations, then of course it is. It's outweighing it. You're in a special place, you're doing something special. But if you're doing that every single day, it'll take you a while to recover. It's just asking yourself whether it's worth it, or can you meet a happy balance? Is there choices you can make? Do you need to drink excessively every single week? Can you do it once a month? Or can you give yourself and your social time a month off? Can you say, okay, throughout this whole month, I'm not going to have a single drink, and I'm going to try and keep to a sleep schedule, and I'm going to try and eat dinner earlier. So yeah, you might have to cancel a few social plans for 30 days, but will you feel so much better afterwards? I can 99% guarantee you'll say yes. And that's when you have to start asking yourself, okay, could I go for lunch with my friends and then I go to bed at the same time? Is there something that you could do to meet in the middle? You know, you have to live your life. It can't be a regimented operation where you are just not living life. You're trying to prolong your life to be healthier, but you're not living life. Like, that's definitely not what I am doing. I'm definitely still living my life to the fullest. I'm just making small changes and choices and asking myself, okay, is it really worth that? Do I need to binge drink? Do I need to, every time I go to the pub with my friends, do I need to have an alcoholic drink, or would I be quite happy with a squash? Or, you know, you've got to ask yourself these questions. Or an alcoholic free beer. Like, alcohol free things are getting more and more frequent in places. Throughout summer, after I had my drink spiked, I really could not stomach drinking alcohol, so I started drinking zero sols, and I absolutely loved it. It tasted just like a beer but without the alcoholic fuzzy head. And we had so many barbecues in summer, and I didn't have a single drink. I was just drinking them. Obviously this is personal preference. I'm not suggesting everybody gives up alcohol and, you know, goes to bed at 6 p.m. What I'm suggesting is you ask yourself what is worth feeling the effects of. If you've got a really busy week ahead at work and you know you need to be on your A game, is going out at the weekend with your friends and getting blind drunk and going to bed at 2 a.m. and getting up at 9 a.m. really going to give you the best chance of having the best week at work? Probably not. Do I even enjoy these things? I think that was a big question that I asked myself. Do I enjoy eating late? No, I was feeling awful. I could really feel my stomach was full in bed all night and really uncomfortable. Do I enjoy excessively drinking? No, I'm 35 next, and I can guarantee I've drank enough for 500 people in my lifetime. And the same with certain foods that I've cut out. Do I really enjoy them? No, it's just a habit that I've been eating them for so long. So I think number one is an extension of eating earlier, but it's also asking yourself the reasons as to why we're in these habits where you are eating later or drinking alcohol or doing anything that you're doing that's affecting your sleep. Is there a reason, or is it just a bad habit that you've been in for a long time and you just need to make small changes and you'll see a big difference? Number two is the temperature in your bedroom. Something I've really struggled with, to be honest. My husband is really into his podcasts and learning from other people, and he's a massive Whoop user. He's a CrossFit guy now. He's so physically fit. He's lost over 4 stone at the period of time that I've lost 2. He's an ex-athlete. He's very, very, very fit. He found some research that the bedroom needs to be really cold for your body temperature to lower for you to fall asleep. And again, I'm not going to go into so many details. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not trying to say something and get it wrong. I'm just explaining what's worked for me and why I think it's worked for me. So he has recommended that we have the windows open before we come to bed. We shut the door, so all these windows are open, the door's shut, so no one can come in and out, and the air's circulating in this room. And then when we come to bed, we shut the windows, but the air in our bedroom is cold, so our body temperatures are low when we go to sleep, and we have a better sleep, and also it is easier for us to fall to sleep. It took me a while to get on board with this because I hate being cold. I hate being cold so much. But getting in bed, pulling the covers on, being nice and toasty, and the air in the room is really cold has actually benefited my sleep. And again, I saw the results on my Whoop. It really does make a big difference. The same with using a mask. So having the room as dark as possible. We've got blackout curtains, but I do think having a mask sometimes does give you the better sleep. My husband sleeps with a mask on every single night. I do sleep with a mask on, but for some reason it ends up off my face. I feel like halfway through the night I must take it off. But falling to sleep with the mask on and my earphones on, listening to a story really, really helps, and I'll go into that in a second. But the darker the room, the colder the room, you're guaranteed to fall to sleep quicker and have a deeper sleep. So you go into a REM sleep, which is when you get rapid eye movement. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. I'll show you what rapid eye movement is. But that's when you are at your most recovered, when you have rapid eye. Room nice and cool really does make a big difference. The food and drink related one is caffeine, and you are looking at a caffeine coffee addict. Honestly, I can sometimes have 3-4 espressos, doubles in a day. I am trying really hard to wean myself off because especially over Christmas it's just been crazy. I just love coffee so much. Coffee does not love me. So if I have a single bit of caffeine past, I reckon, like 1 or 2 p.m, I will not sleep that night. I will be staring at the ceiling. And I think that's something that people kind of know, like you shouldn't have caffeine past a certain point, but each person's caffeine tolerance is very different. So I've gone through and tested, and I know if I really need to have a good night's sleep the next day, I will not have anything with caffeine in past 11 a.m. because it will impact me. Other people are different. Like I said, my husband, he can have it at 3-4 o'clock and he'll still be fine because he doesn't have a lot of caffeine in the day. But I'm having like double espressos. I am a lover of a really strong coffee, which then stays in my body. It takes a while to really get out of my body. So when it comes to bedtime, I'm really struggling to fall to sleep because I've had so much caffeine. So setting yourself a limit of how much caffeine you're having in a day, but also what time you cut that off will make a big difference too. And if you are somebody who's doom scrolling at night and you're thinking, why can I not switch off and why is my brain so active, it could be down to how much caffeine you're having. I had this moment myself when I was thinking, why can he just go straight to sleep and I'm sat there thinking about what I need to do tomorrow, making a to-do list in my brain, and then thinking I need to write it down on my phone. You probably still in like work mode and it's really hard to switch that off, especially if you are buzzing on a load of caffeine. I think this is number 4 or 5, they're all blurring into each other right now, and that is the phone and blue screen and coming to bed watching TV, anything like that. I have still, a year later, got a terrible habit that I am working so hard to get out of, and I do think social media is just so addictive, and everybody, you know, struggles with this. You get in bed, it's your first bit of you time, and what you're going to do is scroll. I can be on TikTok for 2 hours and it's just gone like that, and I'm thinking, I've just been in a rabbit hole of finding out about George Michael's life for 2 hours. Or if something's happened that week and I'm just like, oh, I want to know what's going on with that. And then the next thing, it's 2 hours of your life gone. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. You've got to get up for work next day and function and do your absolute best in your job. And it's just not going to happen because you've been doom scrolling. So I think banning yourself from having your phone, going cold turkey to start with, works so well. Over Christmas, I have been doom scrolling, terrible bedtimes, and then the last few weeks I've got myself back into a really good habit. And one of the things that's working so well for me that I forgot about and have reintroduced, and that is, I'm going to show you. I get in bed and I put on my earphones, I get my sleep mask, and I get into bed in my cold room and I listen to a story. That can either be a audiobook that you're listening to, although I have got into my reading this year, and when there is a really good book that you're into, it has actually had a negative effect. I end up going to sleep at 2 a.m. because I really need to know what happens, so that's not always the best. Whereas actually listening to a YouTube story, so this one is one that I listened to last night, it was ancient Egypt, and it's just so good for letting your imagination just start to dream, which then helps you get into REM sleep. Not be thinking about what you've got to do at work the next day, or that you have to put your wash on in the morning before you go to work, or all these little things that you're thinking about, like, oh, I need to take the kids to school tomorrow. If you're listening to a story like you're a child, you will start to imagine and dream. And I know it sounds a bit silly, and when I say it out loud to people, I'm like, yeah, I was listening to ancient Egypt last night. It's a bit crazy, but it really works to switch my brain off. And I have my own clothing brand, and I have a lot going on. We have a team of 9 people that we're managing. I have a lot going on in my brain that I do need to switch off, and this is what's worked really well for me. I've started reading a lot more this year, and again, like I just said, I do get in bed sometimes and it has a negative effect where I'm like, I need to know what's happening, but I'm making time throughout the day to read my books and like relax and focus more on not my reality, which then helps me wind down, get in bed and start to dream about what I've been reading or listening to. So I really recommend the one that I listened to last night, Ancient Egypt. There's so many free stories on YouTube. Like, you can literally put in ASMR story or there's so many different things. I'll link some of my favourites down below, but you can literally put in anything into YouTube. Last night I went to sleep at 9 and I woke up at 10:30 because I must have left it on. There's a way that you can have it where it doesn't loop, but I woke up at 10:30 and I was like, wow, I've really just been dreaming about mummies. It woke me up. So you can set it so that it doesn't loop and that you just choose 30 minutes, so you've got enough time to wind down and fall asleep, and then it will just click off and you'll wake up the next morning. There's also other apps like Sleep, I think that works really well, Mindful and things like that. There's loads of different apps you can do that is catered to this and helping you unwind and dream when you're in bed. And like I say, I really like having the earphones on and then the mask because it's dark, my room's cold, and I can just not have any distractions and fall asleep soundly, and it's just heaven. This actually I got from TikTok Shop, and it has speakers in the mask. I'm not gonna lie, it's not brilliant, it's definitely cheap, but there will be ones out there that are better than this. But it is really nice, the fact that you can put the mask on and then listen, and then it just turns off. You're not having to like be uncomfortable with your earphones on. Another thing that I just touched on, just to go further into it, is how to relax and get yourself into a routine. So at the moment, I'm trying to go to bed at 9 o'clock and get up at 6. This morning I got up at 5, and I did not struggle to get up at 5. I wanted to get up, get a run done, and then a really busy day in the office. So I know that I needed to get enough time in the morning for me to be able to do my run and tick off some things before I go to work, and then when I get to work I'm really prepared and I'm in the right frame of mind to get things done. So that meant I had to get up a little bit earlier, but usually I am doing a 9 a.m. till 6 a.m. routine. That works really well for me, but everybody might be different. You might prefer to go to bed at 10 and get up at 7. I take so long in the morning just faffing around, so for me to be on time for work, then I need to get up earlier, and you might be different or the same. And also it's dark at the moment when you get up, so it is so much harder. But come summer, 7 a.m. there's light and it's so much easier. So it might feel really hard right now, but as soon as it gets to spring and summer, it's a lot easier to get up earlier. So yeah, I really recommend getting yourself into a routine and making sure that you stick to that routine. So I've set up some things on my phone that will give me a reminder and just say, gentle reminder, it's time to unwind. And then if I'm watching something downstairs on the TV, or I'm doing something, or if I'm working, which is really bad, I'll be working till late and that's terrible for my sleep, I'll stop what I'm doing and make sure between 8 and 9 p.m. is my time to unwind. I'll use my red mask, which is meant to be really good for sleep as well. I'll sit there and read my books on Kindle, or I'll get a bath and start to unwind, or I might even just come into the bedroom and just listen to the story that I know I'm going to listen to that night, and just have a little bit earlier of a wind down. Making that choice to think, okay, it's now between 8 and 9 p.m. That's my time to wind down, so that when I go into the bedroom, which is going to be nice and cold and dark, that's my time that I'm going to hit my head on the pillow and I'm going to sleep. Another tip that works really well for me if I'm struggling to get to sleep and the story's not working, somebody told me this and I can't remember who it was, but it's always worked so well for me, is if you think about your day backwards. I am always guaranteed if I do this method, I will fall asleep. So from right now, it would be, I'm just sat on my bed and I'm recording this video. And then prior to that, I was downstairs and I came in after I'd been into town. And then from that, I went and had some soup in my Spencer's cafe. So you go on your day backwards until the very start of the day when you woke up. And I don't think I've ever got to the start of the day. It's honestly, because you have to think about what you've done backwards, it really just triggers your mind to focus on what you did. And sometimes it's really hard to remember. So there's no interruptions. Like, I have all of these tabs open in my brain constantly. So if I'm in bed and I close my eyes and I'm like, right, it's time to go to sleep, I'm like, okay, need to do that tomorrow. Or have you spoke to that person? Did you reply to that person? Oh, that email's still outstanding. Did you invite that person? Oh, Max's water needs changing before bed. You didn't do that. Did you do that? Oh yeah, you did do that. And you're having like a constant argument with yourself. All the time you're telling yourself, I need to go to sleep, I need to go to sleep. Oh my God, it's getting later. I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. Oh my God. And you get this dread and you're in this cycle. Whereas if you put all of these things in place, you're almost taking some of that pressure off, because you're giving yourself the best chance of having a good night's sleep. And it's worked so well for me over the past 12 months. My sleep score is so improved. And I just feel genuinely better. I've got a lot more energy. I don't struggle to get up in the morning. I'm not, you know, in this like cycle of feeling like I've got nothing done in the day. I'm very productive with my days, which I love. And like this morning, I got up at 5, went downstairs, had a coffee, put my gym kit on, went for a run, had a shower, got ready, and by 8 a.m. I was on the way to work. So it's one of those things where you're like, right, I've actually accomplished so much before 8 a.m. Whereas before I was actually getting up at 8 a.m. and then starting work at 9. So I'm only giving myself an hour to do all the things that I want to do that helps me have the better day. And I really think that affects your mental health too. If you're constantly in this like rush and you're like, okay, I'm rushing through the door, I need to get ready, I'm rushing to get to work, then get to work, and then if you're like 10-20 minutes late for work, then you get to sit down at your desk and you already feel behind, and then you're like, oh, I need to go get a coffee, and it's just a constant like catch up throughout the day that you never get a chance to like fully be calm and in control of the situation, because you're constantly catching up. So I think sleep has a really positive effect on your mental and physical health, because if you get up in enough time in the morning, you actually want to exercise more. Like, I find exercising in the morning helps me have the most productive and happy day, because I get up, I work out, and I have these amazing endorphins that then I start the day and I'm in a really positive mood. And I would say the girls in the office would probably say I'm in a much more happy mood when I've exercised in the morning. I'm not grumpy at all. Hopefully they would never say I am grumpy, but you never know. And yeah, I think it really has affected just my overall life of being more positive and successful. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, my business is actually up significantly year on year, because I am way more invested and involved and thinking so much clearer, because I'm not in this constant like downward spiral of not sleeping, eating bad, struggling to get up, not exercising. And as much as I have prioritized losing weight, it's happened very easily for me, because I've made these lifestyle changes that has impacted me to be the healthiest version of myself, which in tow has made me lose the weight. So yeah, I think by you setting these habits and like really prioritizing things that are important to you, and sleep should be at the top of that priority list, you will just have a much happier and healthier day-to-day life. So I really hope that helped. I never thought I'd be doing videos on sleep, but like I said, I was really shocked at how many people don't know how to have a good night's sleep. And I think I've not really researched it. It's more that things have come to me. So like I said, wearing the Whoop was really good, because it was prompting me all the time to learn these things, and it would suggest things that I needed to change. So it almost guided me and coached me into having a better sleep. So highly recommend getting a Whoop if you are interested in that. I'll link mine down below. Get a discount if you were referred by somebody, but I'm not sure. I've not looked at it for a long time. And then the same with setting a schedule. Tonight, if you want to go to bed at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m, make sure you give yourself an hour before to unwind. Make sure the bedroom is nice and cold, it's dark, not having any alcohol or caffeine too late, and giving yourself the best chance for a successful day the next day. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know if there's any other videos or any other help that you want, any questions. And you can also join my Instagram group down below. I've linked it, and there's so many women on the same journey as you, trying to better themselves and be the best version of themselves in 2025.